Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you everyone for having me. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ferry Yudha Pratama. I am the third author in this paper. And I am going to present our article in the title is Number Head Together NHT Type of Cooperative Learning Model with Audio Visual Media to Increase 5th Grade Learning Outcomes. And this research is our collaborative study between Universitas PGRI Ronggolawe Tuban and SMP Muhammadiyah 9 Bojonegoro. But before that, let me show you all the author. Ina Agustin as the first author. Novialita Angga Wiratama as second author. And Ferry Yudha Pratama as third author. And the last one is Daniati Fatimah as fourth author. Introduction. Based on the observation result in 5th grade student at SDN 3 Brengkok Brondong Lamongan, we found that the teacher uses one-way learning, meaning that the teacher provides materials to the students without involving them. And sometimes the teacher uses the question and answer method. The teacher do not use various learning media and only using textbooks. The teacher emphasizes the student tasks in planning and implementing learning. The teacher places more emphasis on the auditory aspect. Problem experienced by the students. Students are less enthusiastic and less excited about learning process. They have difficulty accepting learning because of their limited auditory understanding. Many students do not focus on paying attention to the teacher explanation. That is because the learning process is less varied. All that causes student learning outcomes are still low. As we look further at the students, we found that the average student learning outcomes are still low. It is 46 out of 100. Based on the total number of 22 students, and the completeness of learning in the class is not less than 85%. We knew that 81.8% or 18 students are not passed, and only 18.1% or 4 students are past the completeness of learning in the class. Therefore, it is necessary to find the best solution to overcome the low learning outcomes of students. The right solution in overcoming student difficulties in learning is the application of media and learning models. Learning media that can be used is audio-visual media. According to Wina Sanjaya in Purwono, said that audio-visual media is media that has visible sound and image elements, for example, video recordings, slides, sounds, and so on. For the learning model, use the number head together or NHT type of cooperative learning. NHT will strengthen students' memory of the material they learned because each student has their own responsibility to solve an existing problem. So, the purpose of this study was to determine the increase of student learning outcomes on 5th grade SDN 3 Brengkok Brondong Lamongan after applied number head together NHT type of cooperative learning model with audio visual media. From introduction, we move to research method. This type of research is classroom action research. The research subjects were the 5th grade student of SDN 3 Brengkok, totaling 22 students. This research was conducted in the first semester of the 2019-2020 academic year, with learning materials on Theme 5, Sub-Themes 1, First Learning in Science subjects, the animal classification based on the type of food. For the research instruments, used include validation sheets, observation sheets, student response sheets, and test sheets. However, On this occasion, we only focus on the test sheet because it is used to measure student learning outcomes. The research stages. We used the classroom action research designed by Stephen Camis and Robin McTaggart. The diagram shows the self-reflective spiral of planning, acting and observing, reflecting, and replanning as the basis of understanding how to take action to improve an educational situation. The diagram shows the principle in action, the movement from one critical phase to another, and how progress may be made through systemic steps. The research result. In Cycle 1, the average learning outcomes of 5th grade students were 71.54 and it is categorized as a middle. Meanwhile, the completeness of learning in class reaches 77% or 17 students. As observation result, we found that during the implementation of the Cycle 1 actions, in general, learning has taken place in accordance with the prepared lesson plan. Student attention has not been focused on the learning being carried out. Some of the students who expressed their opinion looked doubtful and lacked confidence and were unsure of their answers. During group discussion, there were some students who had not been actively collaborating in group work. Cycle 1 reflection. The improvement effort made from Cycle 1 focused students' attention before starting learning by inviting them to sing songs related to the material to be discussed and choosing one of the students to lead the song in front of the class. Focus students' attention with a variety of clapping movement, for example, clapping enthusiasm, clapping silence, clapping 11. Increase student courage in expressing opinion, namely by giving awards in the form of applause and achievement stickers. Because in Cycle 1 the research objective has not been achieved, then it is continued in Cycle 2. The weaknesses contained in Cycle 1 was refined so that the research implementation in Cycle 2 could run better, so that indicators of success could be achieved. The average learning outcomes of 5th grade students were 82.90 and it is categorized as high. This result increased 11.36 points from the previous. Meanwhile, the completeness of learning in class reaches 100% or 22 students. In Cycle 2, research has achieved the goal. Research has been completed and the cycle was ended. Cycle 2 reflection. Learning is carried out in accordance with the developed lesson plan. The use of audiovisual media can attract and engage students. The students are ready and focused before learning begins. During the question and answer process, many students have expressed their opinion, although there are still 1 or 2 students who are still afraid to express their opinions, but the teacher accompanies and gives motivation. All students are involved in group discussion and they are willing to work together. The student learning outcomes have increased from Cycle 1 to Cycle 2. The conclusion. In Cycle 1, the average of student learning outcomes reached 71.54 or middle category. In Cycle 2, shows the increase in the average of student learning outcomes was 82.90 or categorized as high. The results of this study indicate that the application of number held together NHT type of cooperative learning model with audio-visual media successfully increased the learning outcomes on 5th grade student in SDN 3 Brengkok, Brondong, Lamongan. Well, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.